With section 21 states that the board rules and regulations is hereby authorized to establish and prescribe subject to the approval of the secretary rules and regulations to govern the proceedings of the board. So ang gagawa dyan sa section 21 ng board rules and regulations is yung nakatalaga na isang chairman which is the secretary and the 6 members. So, let's proceed with section 22 para maintindihan natin kung ano ibig sabihin na indeterminate sentence law. Indeterminate sentence law is the provision of Act number 4103. Tandaan ninyo, indeterminate sentence law is under 4103, otherwise known as the indeterminate sentence law, as amended, shall continue to apply except as otherwise amended, modified, or repealed by this code. So, mayroon tayong rules on parole. Mayroon mga rules, existing rules para ma-follow, may guidelines na dapat nating ma-follow para hindi magkamali ang bibigyan ng parole kung sino-sino yung bibigyan natin ng parole. Pursuant to Act number 4103 or otherwise known as the Indeterminate Sentence Law, as amended by, among others, Section 21, Title 3, Book 4 of Executive Order number 292, Code of 1987, the following rules on parole are hereby promulgated. So a while ago, someone asked me about difference between the parole, provision, and pardon. So mind you guys that let's proceed. Let's focus on the parole before we proceed with the other privileges. So, ngayon, dito lang muna tayo mag-focus para maintindihan natin ng maayos kung ano yung mga existing facts na meron sa parole. Okay, meron din nagtanong sa inyo about parole. So, tapusin muna natin ang parole saka tayo magtatanong. So, maganda yung ginagawa nila kasi nagtatanong kayo. Rule number 1, which is the general provisions. Rules number 1.1, purpose of the law and duty of the board. The purpose of Act number 4103. Hindi niyo siguro iniisip na ito is maring lumabas sa board exam. So, ito kasi is based on theory. So, ang lahat ng theory na nandito, lahat ng definition of terms, explanations, so dapat alam natin. As amended, otherwise known as the Indeterminate Sentence Law, is uplift and redeem valuable human material to economic usefulness and to prevent human unnecessary and excessive deprivation of personal liberty, otherwise known as the Indeterminate Sentence Law. Is uplift and redeem valuable human material to economic usefulness and to prevent unnecessary excessive deprivation. Naulit lang. So, this rule number 1 implies that in order for the government to give a fair justice to those people, para nandyan si human material at saka economic usefulness, in order for these prisoners to be useful in the society, so we need to give them a chance para makapagtrabaho sila, makapaghanap buhay, matulungan yung mga magulang nila, halimbawa mga anak nila, pamilya nila, and makatulong sila sa economic growth natin. So, nandyan lumabas si Indeterminate Sentence Law. Okay? Under Section 5 of said Act, it is the duty of the Board of Pardons and Parole to look into the physical, mental, and moral record of prisoners who are eligible for parole and to determine the proper time of release of such prisoners on parole. So, itong purpose of the law and duty of the board is to see to it that a applicant for parole is physically fit in such a way that physically hindi siya gumagawa ng katarantaduhan sa loob, wala siyang sinasaktan, wala siyang napatay halimbawa sa loob ng kulungan. Mental, and this person or this prisoner is not mental ill or mentally deranged, mentally deprived. For example, may sakit sa ulo, may sakit sa utak, imbes na palayain mo na lang is dalhin mo na lang sa mental institution. Or moral record. Moral record is based on the attitude of a certain prisoner. So, titingnan dyan sa board kung eligible ba ang tao na makalabas. Ilabas natin sa loob ng kulungan kung saan makakapaghanap buhay siya ng naaayon dun sa itinakda ng batas. Rule 1.2, which is definition of terms. So dito na tayo lalabas. As used in these rules, unless the context indicates otherwise. So meron tayong board. So alam naman natin ito, ang tatanda nyo lang is definition. Refers to the board of pardon and parole. Remember, carpeta. This carpeta, if I'm not mistaken, was asked during my time. Carpeta refers to the institutional record of an inmate which consists of his mittimos or commitment order. So, ang ibig sabihin ng carpeta, ito yung institutional record kung saan nakapaloob lahat ng detalye, details na nilabas na written. For example, mittimos kapag ang tao is dadalhin na sa kulungan, record yan na nanggaling sa court, tapos kukunin yung bibilanggo, tapos dadalhin dun sa institution kung saan siya ilalagay. Or commitment order, kung saan yung mga commitment order niya issued by the court after conviction. The prosecutor's information and the decisions of the trial court, appellate court of any certificate of non-appeal, certificate of detention, and other pertinent document of the case. So, ito yung mga included doon sa sinasabi nating karpeta. Now, take note. Kapag tinanong halimbawa, which of the following is a composition of the institutional record carpeta? So, tinanong yan. Tanong yan halimbawa. So, the answer must be, halimbawa, tinanong yan, o kaya except, the answer could be mittimos or commitment order, prosecutor's information and decisions of the trial court, appellate court, or certificate non-appeal and certificate of detention and other pertinent documents of the case. So, alam na natin kung anong composition ng karpeta. So, maraming bagay na po pwedeng itanong itong karpeta. It's either siya ang itatanong kung ano siya o kung anong yung nakapaloob sa kanya. So, letter C, we have director. It refers to the director of the Bureau of Corrections. The term director, if I'm not mistaken, is still director pa rin ang tawag. Director of the Bureau of Corrections. Yan ang tawag sa kanya. Parole. Okay, parole in a brief definition, it refers to the conditional release of a prisoner from a correctional institution after he has served the minimum of his prison sentence. Take note, conditional release. Conditional release is also definition yan ng pardon. Pero dito, conditional release provided that he has served the minimum of his prison sentence. Serve minimum. Nakahalahati siya. O kaya, serve part of his sentence. Part, di ba? Pag narinig mong part instead of minimum, the answer is parole. Remember. Okay, we have parole supervision. It refers to the supervision, surveillance by a provision and parole officer of a parolee. So take note, the word parolee is the prisoner undergoing parole. Parole. Kung sino man yung nag-grantan ng parole, ang tawag sa kanya is parolee. And there is a provision. Provision is provision officer. And this parole officer is the term to an individual supervising a parolee. Kung sino yung nag-supervise sa parolee, ang tawag sa kanya is parole officer. Baka itanong to sa board, may hirapan tayo. Okay, we have parolee. Ito sabi ko sa inyo kanina, ito yung release on parole. Penal superintendent. Okay, we have penal superintendent. Refers to the officer in charge of the new Bilibid prison. Take note, the correction institution for women and the prison and penal farms of the Bureau of Corrections. Makinig. Lahat ng penal institutions, meron tayo sa Pilipinas. Halimbawa, di ba dati nasabi na natin yan si Iwahi Penal Colony, Davao Penal Colony, Mandaluyong Penal Colony for women, tapos meron tayong New Bilibid Prison, and so on and so forth. Sa Palawan, ng mga nandyan. So, ang term is penal superintendent. I don't know if this is not yet revised. Hindi pa ito na-revised, pero the term is penal superintendent. Okay, yan ang tawag sa, kung halimbawa, ang tawag, kung pinalitan, it could be penal lieutenant colonel. Okay. Pero dito, penal superintendent. So yan ang tawag sa pinuno doon sa mga tawag dito, penal institution na meron tayo. We have 7 if I'm not mistaken. Alamin nyo yan dahil kung hindi ka nakinig doon sa first part, kaya yung institutional correction sa prelim is pinag-aralan natin. Pinasok ko sa subject natin dahil gusto ko handa kayo. Baka hindi ko binibigyan ng wala contrast doon sa dati ng teacher. Because I wanted to give you a review on the previous subject. Halimbawa, yung sa CA, tapos na ninyo. Pero sa prelim, ginawa ko is, i-discuss natin ulit. Tawag dito, we are going to review what part, kung ano yung mga part na hindi nyo naintindihan para maintindihan ninyo, tapos may pasok nyo dito sa non-institutional correction because it is interconnected, interrelated, which is dapat isang subject lang to pero pinag-iba. Okay, we have prison record. Okay, refers to information concerning an inmate's personal circumstances. Personal circumstances, lahat ng problema niya sa buhay niya sa loob. The offense committed, kung anong the sentence imposed, the criminal case number in the trial and appellate courts, the date the commenced serving his sentence, the date he was received for confinement, the place of confinement, the date of expiration of the sentence, the number of the previous conviction of any, and his behavior or conduct while in prison. Take note, the carpeta. Kanina nakita niyo kung ano nakapalob sa karpeta. So, baka hindi niyo ang tawag dito, hindi natin may sa ulo tapos imbis na karpeta ang sagot, prison record ang sinagot mo. So remember that prison record includes all personal circumstances, lahat ng ito. So itandaan niyo rin ito dahil pwedeng itanong na naman sa board exam, for example, what are those informations includes in prison record. So, kailangan alam mo dahil pwedeng except, di ba, ma-except parate yan. Letter A, letter B, letter C, letter D, letter D, lahat nandyan. Pero may letter E, halimbawa na except. Hindi siya yun. So, hindi mo alam. So, ang sasagot mo is, it's either dun sa ABCD, pero hindi mo na mamalayan na letter E pala siya. Makikita, I hope you are with me. So, let's proceed with provision and parole officers. Kanina, nasabi ko sa inyo, refers to the provision and parole officer undertaking the supervision of the parolee. So, sila yung nakamando, tumitingin sa kanina, pinapareport sila. So, makikita natin yan kung ano mga ibang discussion.